All right, here we go, the Mother's Day edition of the FOX6 Sports Blitz. What a pleasure to be with you. Lily Zhao, Brandon Cruz, and Tim Van Voort. Beautiful weather and some fun stuff going on in the world of sports as well. Let's get right into it with our first look at the starting lineup. Here's what is coming up tonight. Welcome to Cleveland. Well, it's kind of like that sign down near the airport. Are the Brewers really at the destination they're supposed to be at? Welcome to Cleveland. It's over, and then it's over. That's what's going on for the Brewers. We'll talk about that. Say what from a hockey hero as the Admirals go on to pick up a big win tonight after a rocky road against Rockford in the AHL's Calder Cup playoffs. And our latest high school hotshot hits at the top of the order and will also take your order.
For us to be good as an offense, it has to be as a whole. So you have some guys that are swinging it, some guys that are not. And I feel like when we're really rolling, even if guys aren't swinging it, the outs are productive. We're moving guys. It's chaos on the base pass. So obviously just try to keep up with that.
We'll try to keep up with that for sure. That's Eric Haas, who doesn't play a lot, but as a backup catcher has a great perspective on what goes on with the Brewers. Is he right, Lily? Is that who this team is?
I think so. I think they kind of reflect their record. It's a team that I think we all believed that they were going to make a bigger jump this year, but alas, it is what it is. It's still early in the season, but it's a team that I think they relied on their starting pitching, they rely on their defense, and they've just had some spells lately that it just hasn't been traditional Brewers baseball. So they're trying to find their edge. Pat Murphy has called them out a couple times on losing their edge. They haven't really been that, Pat Murphy branded team for a lot of the season. So Pat Murphy called out his guys. He's, benching a couple guys just to make them learn a lesson. And that's just what comes with the growing process with a young team. But I think once this Brewers team does find their edge, they're going to be very, very tough to beat. But it's a good sign that they got to win on Mother's Day to maybe kind of jumpstart a nice winning streak going forward.
Lily started by talking about starting pitching, and I would throw it to you. No pun intended, with how important you think that is for this team. It's been up and down. Even, say, Tobias Myers, a big start this week. Now he's in the minors.
Yeah, and it's a big reason we're seeing him get sent down is because he has not been very accurate. A lot of walks. He hasn't been able to get really past the fifth inning too often. And, yeah, he's had some bright moments, but he has not had the control that we were seeing from him last year when he burst onto the scene and had a great rookie season. And what's happened is he's just kind of been all over the place. And for now, they're bringing him down to just try to, what they call is a chance to reset. And I do think starting pitching is huge for this team because they're not huge offensively. They're trying to be clutch, they try to create offense, but they are not an offensive juggernaut, so they need the starting pitching to go 6, maybe 7 innings and to limit the other team to 2-3 runs tops, and then they can win ball games. If they are getting chased out in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th innings, that puts a tax on the bullpen, and that generally means more runs have come across, putting more pressure on the offense.
One guy who's kind of been a Tobias Myers replica, if you will, is Chad Patrick this season. Kind of come up from the minors. Does he have a spot? Well, suddenly he does have a spot.
Yeah, and he's been pitching very well. He's a guy that you can rely on so far. And, even when he has struggled with his control, it hasn't cost him. He's been able to pitch out of trouble. And that's one of the things you're looking for with a guy who might not have command. If he can find a way to get the ground ball that he needs or get a strikeout when he needs it, those are moments that you're looking for with your starting pitcher. He's been able to deliver, and right now Pat Murphy looks at him and says, okay, I can count on him every 5 games.
And that sets up the situation of who's in this starting rotation because Brandon Woodruff is coming back, Lily. Maybe a little ahead of where some people thought he would be on the timetable. Hasn't pitched since 2023, other than in the minors. Here he's gone through these rehabs at various levels. And we'll see him this week, literally here on Fox 6.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun to watch. Brandon Woodruff, a long journey back from that shoulder injury and the surgery that he had in 2023. So hoping to make his first major league start since September of that year. But he's worked really hard to get back here, doing a lot of rehab, going through everything, just trying to get back to what he believes is, his level of play on the mound, his ability to pitch and be a really good starting pitcher for the Brewers to really solidify the starting rotations. You see them there with the Timber Rattlers, finish up his rehab stint with Nashville, pitched only a couple innings today, but he's kind of becoming the Brandon Woodruff that we all love to see on the mound. Very emotional. I'm sure he will be on Saturday when the Brewers do face the Twins at home. It'll be on Fox 6. It's going to be a fun game to watch him just come back and just receive a nice ovation for just all the hard work it took for him to go back from surgery and to come back and play for this team.
And obviously the Brewers are counting on him to contribute something too, because there are a lot of, it's kind of a logjam of arms there in that spot. At times this team looks like it has a pop gun offense, right? But then Christian Yelich hits a home run today. He does have 7 homers.
Yeah, I mean, he's on pace to hit 28 right now. He's also on pace to have more than 100 RBIs, but he's just not consistently hitting the ball. And I think that's one of the things that this team is trying to figure out is how to get him going. I mean, he's barely hitting above 200. He's right in the middle of their lineup, and they're looking for him to drive in runs. And he has been doing that decently. I mean, like I said, he's right now on pace to have 104 RBIs. So he's delivering the runs, but he's just not on base as much as I think the Brewers were hoping he would be as they hit the quarter pole. And I think that's one of the things they're trying to figure out is how to get him more consistent, get him to be more productive, and to score more runs. He's doing the other stuff, but that's where they're trying to figure out how to get him going.
Game 1500, he did play in that milestone game this week, and he was interesting to talk to after that game, talk about the lessons you learn through baseball, et cetera, et cetera. That same night, Vinny Capra got a hit, Lily, ended this long drought. He has since been designated for assignment by the Brewers. So the drought ends, but then the tenure ends with the club.
Yeah, and that was tough to see, right? He was a guy that was just had a blistering spring training, and then the regular season 54 at bats, and that's just not going to get get you in the lineup or have you in the majors if you're not able to hit at the big league level. So despite a really, really good start and a really good time at spring training, that was really hot. It just didn't really translate just yet. So he gets DFA'd, and hopefully Vinny gets another chance here. But he's one of those guys that you're kind of hoping stuck around, but just couldn't really capitalize on his opportunity.
Speaking of sticking around, the Brewers were able to carry him through to the end of that skid, though, which was kind of nice, so he doesn't get released out there. And he's, Brad Nelson, I've never gotten a hit anywhere. What's going on? So that goes on. The left side of this infield, though, has just not had a lot of offensive success. Joey Ortiz may be coming out a little bit of it, but it goes back to the gaps in this offense.
Well, and that's the problem. I mean, Joey Ortiz hits a home run this weekend in Tampa, but he's still hitting well below 200, and he is playing a new position at shortstop. So you have to wonder, is that mentally affecting him at the plate as he's having to carry much more of a burden defensively, and then maybe it's affecting his offense. And he just hasn't been able to do a whole lot with the bat, but that is something they're hoping to change. And like Yelich, they're just trying to find some consistency there where he can get on base, because that's where he creates problems for an opposing team. So you get him on base, you're going to see more positive effects for the Brewers offense.
We're seeing some of the highlights here from the weekend, 2 losses and then a win, and it's that's kind of it. I mean, what else can you say about the way things went in Tampa?
Yeah, kind of a ho-hum kind of series. We're still kind of waiting for the Brewers to sweep somebody, but, at least they avoided the sweep in Tampa. But you just want to see a clean game from this team. You want to see them put up some runs. You want to see them, play stellar defense and consistently. And so maybe they'll start to put that together this week. But, again, kind of a ho-hum series there, and luckily they avoided the sweep.
And we are going to sweep on out of the baseball talk and tuck it on over to the Milwaukee Bucks. It's the off season. It's the Milwaukee Bucks. It's the second half of our program. And, of course, that means what's going on with Giannis Antetokounmpo's future.
I just think, man, that Giannis bleed green, though. I think he bleeds green, man. I think he bleeds, loyalty. I think he bleeds, wanting that Tim Duncan, Kobe-esque type career, Steph Curry type career where they play with one franchise.
Wasn't Kobe on Charlotte? The Vlade Divac. Would you expect any other answer from somebody who's been around you with Giannis so long?
No, he even said in that conversation, which we didn't show there, that he hasn't really talked to him yet. I mean, this is a conversation that they might have in a few weeks. But right now, the way he was looking at it is how he knows Giannis and what Giannis thinks, and the way Giannis has shown his love for the Bucks and for the city of Milwaukee. So he does see Giannis trying to stay here, but he also acknowledges he wants to be part of a winner, and the Bucks have to show him that that's what they're willing to put around him as players to bring a championship opportunity back to Milwaukee, and that's where the catch is right now. Do they have the people to do that, or do they have the opportunity to bring in the people to do that? And that's where, all these guys are now going to start looking around and going, all right, Bobby Portis, do I stick around because we have a shot, or do I move somewhere else too?
You think we're done talking about this topic in the offseason?
Absolutely not. It might be a weekly topic until there's an answer or when the season begins.
Wouldn't you expect that that's going to continue?
Absolutely. Again, this is going to be a highly debated topic. I think throughout the summer, once the NBA Finals are done, there's not going to be a decision made by then, obviously, because this is going to be, conversation between Giannis, the Bucks front office, again, his future, what he wants to do, where they see this team moving forward with him as a centerpiece, because you don't just deal a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo and expect the minimum back. So it's really going to come down to, can both sides work things out? Where is Giannis's heart at? We know he's built a great, family here in town, what they've done for the city. It's been phenomenal, but I think this is going to be talked about until there's actually a decision made and Giannis says, I'm staying with the Bucks or I want to be traded.
We've been down this road a few off seasons before, so that's the way. And in other sports, we've been down this road and watching guys' careers. Will they stay here or not? We are going to stay with basketball on our way to the commercial. As we mentioned, the NBA Combine coming up this weekend. It's officially underway now, actually. Wisconsin Lutheran and Duke star Con Knipple, Marquette's Cam Jones, Wisconsin's John Tomje, all those guys in Chicago. They are looking to improve their draft standing in front of NBA executives, coaches, Chucky Hepburn, the former Badgers down there. So a lot of guys trying to impress the right people and make it into the NBA. We're going to make it into a few other things to discuss when we roll on with the Fox 6 Sports Blitz.
What's peaking?
To answer your question, I can't really answer your question.
And like peak?
Where do you get to go when other people are actually interested in what you got to say?
I can say Yakachonis a lot easier than I could say Hamakros.
We'll stop there.
I've been in the same spot in my PlayStation career so much. I just wanted to feel it in real life, and this happened, and nice to be here this day,
Fedor Svechkov getting the game winner and talking about how he's seen it when he's played his video games. And now he's experiencing it in real life. The Admirals win their best of 5 against the Rockford Ice Hogs with an overtime win. His goal today. Were you expecting to be sitting here tonight talking about the Admirals moving on?
Last Sunday, we were in the sports office making our plans for the week. None of us are too optimistic about the Admirals. Carl Taylor was, though. Remember, all week long, he said, I still believe in these guys, even after the loss in Game 1 and then the loss in Game 2. Turns out he was right, and Taylor's had a terrific record in elimination games as the coach of the Milwaukee Admirals, which gets enhanced tonight with a pretty exciting finish.
It seems like every series he's coaching, Lily, goes the distance. Here we are again. I think it's like 7 of 10 or something. I mean, it's a crazy percentage. What is his magic touch that gets this going?
That's a great question. We're going to have to ask him that. I think it's just the fact that he has experienced teams that are prepared, that have gone the distance before. They were at this exact same spot last year against the Texas Stars in the Central Division semifinals. Down 0-2, came back, did the reverse sweep against the Stars to move on. We all know that they went to the Western Conference Finals last year. So again, this is a team that's been through it all. They've experienced players, of course, guys coming down from the Preds as well. So they know that there's no panic until, the final whistle's blown at the very end, right? It's they're never down and they're never done until the very end. And this team fought back, just took, I think that first win in Rockford kind of really changed the mentality for how quickly they got up there with a 6-2 win. I think that turned the tide for the Ads, and now we're talking about them moving on.
Yeah, Tim, that's Game 3. They go out there down 2-0, and they didn't look at the big picture. They focused, it looked like, on each period, if not each shift, as opposed to the 3 games looming.
And they were able to sustain it. In Game 1 of this series, they jumped out with a big lead on home ice and looked like, they're going to cruise, and then they just kind of hit the standstill and went backwards and didn't play well at all in Game 2. Game 3, you're right, they took it right to Rockford, and then they were able to step on the gas and keep it going from there. They got a lot of players added to the roster right before the postseason. It wasn't like this cohesive unit. They had the long bye, they had new guys coming in. They looked a little ragged, to be honest with you. At the start of this series, they played better as things went along. Even though today, Rockford had the upper hand much of the way. Milwaukee wins it, though.
Yeah, in fact, Matt Murray was being inundated throughout this game, Lily. At one point, they were being outshot 2-1, if not more. What is it about Murray that is a stabilizing force between the pipes?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's just the fact that kind of just wiped the slate clean, right? You can talk about just how tough that Game 1 loss was to this Ads team and Matt Murray. especially giving up a goal 12 seconds into overtime. So then you fast forward now to Game 5, and his ability just to remain calm, make those really good saves, and give this team a fighting chance in overtime. And I think he's, really learned from this series. They need him in net, and I think he's done a phenomenal job.
Yeah, and they're going to see what they've learned from last year because they're facing a very familiar team, Texas, who they went the distance with last year. They start off on the road with Texas for the Central Division Final. That starts on Thursday. Well, earlier this week, the PGA Works Collegiate Championship, the most culturally, there we go. That's how you say it, culturally significant championship in collegiate golf. It saw North Carolina A&T win the women's title. This was played at Whistling Straits. A&T edges Howard by 1 stroke over 54 holes. On the men's side, it's Arkansas Pine Bluff who wins, while North Carolina A&T and Prairie View A&M tie for second. What a great event and what a great venue to host it. Coming up, we have our high school hot shot. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Something big seems to be brewing with the senior in her team, and she's hoping to finish her career with a cake pop smile. Here's this week's Fox 6 High School Hot Shot.
1, 2, 3, Chargers!
Hi, I'm Haley Schomburg, and I'm a senior at Sussex Hamilton, and I play softball. Playing with my best friends now because it's been 4 years with the seniors, so that's really fun, and Coach G has made this like a really good environment. So yeah, we have some girl drama as usual, but it's nothing like terrible. We have been dominating. I think it was last week when we scored something like 80 runs and no runs were scored against us. Obviously that was a full team thing, but also our pitchers are amazing, shutting teams out, and we're hitting the ball pretty good, scoring runs. It's hard to think about it coming to an end. And that's my whole childhood. I played for 2 Little League teams, and then I played for a few club teams, and then high school is definitely my favorite of all of them. It's kind of hard thinking about how it's going to come to an end. Every summer I'm playing games, all summer. It's my parents' life too. I know it's going to be a hard adjustment for them as well. I think my mom will be okay, but it's definitely going to be very difficult on my dad. I don't really know what he's going to do, maybe go hunting more. I'm planning on going to Minnesota Twin Cities for college. I'll be studying kinesiology to become a physical therapist. I like jet skiing. I like anything water. I'm not very good at water skiing and stuff, but I do enjoy going on the lake and doing jet skiing and all that fun stuff. I actually work at Starbucks, which is a really great job because I love Starbucks. So I get all the perks there. Yeah, my sister is in college. She's a sophomore at La Crosse. She also works at Starbucks, so. Okay, I know a lot of Starbucks baristas don't like making this, but I enjoy making Frappuccinos because it's fun. Not when we're busy though. I'm really good at making the caramel crunch because it's really fun. You get to craft it up. Haley Schomburg, Sussex Hamilton, 2-time state qualifier for softball. And I'm this week's Fox 6 High School Hot Shot.
Well, Haley, I'm going to have to come visit you at Starbucks. Meanwhile, she does not plan on playing softball in college, but Haley says her career choice will hopefully keep her connected to the sport in the future. We'll be right back.
The NFL schedule is released Wednesday at 7, at least officially at 7. Here are a list of the Packers' opponents in the upcoming season. Looks like a tough home slate for sure.
And the Brewers continue to play the American League. They head to Cleveland tomorrow for the first of 3 games. They get Thursday off. Then they're back home with the Twins. Saturday's game right here on Fox 6. And Brandon Woodruff expected to get the start, so it should be a huge game and week for the Crew.
Meanwhile, the Admirals advance to the Central Division Finals. They're going to face the Texas Stars starting on Thursday. Games 1 and 2 will be played in Cedar Park, Texas, before the series does shift back to Milwaukee. It's a best of 5. Fun time ahead for the Ads.
Talking about a lot of schedules there. This NFL schedule thing is just taking on a life of its own. It's getting bigger and bigger. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, ESPN's releasing theirs. Amazon Prime. We're going to have a whole list of schedules making schedules.
It just shows you how the NFL has perfected making anything boring must-see TV. They did it with the draft for years ago, and now they do it with the schedule release.
And during the draft, they announced when the schedule would be released. This is build up. Yeah. We'll be all over it on Wednesday. You can make your Packer plans for the upcoming season. If you're taking any trips or which games they're going to win, check them all off. See you then.